Welcome back, guys. This is Gommo from Old World Fanatics, and I've got a very special guest here for a very special topic. I got Ed from Close Order Podcast, mate. How are you going?
I'm going well, thank you very much. Excited to be here. Before I started my channel, this is one of the channels that I was watching as my on-ramp to Old World excitement.
Well, hopefully it motivated you and a lot of other people, and especially people like yourself who actually seem to know how to play the game, which is cool. So I'm very glad to have you on to discuss Warriors of Chaos, which I guess if you're watching this video, you would have seen in the title. We thought it'd be a good time. I think Ed reached out to me because I was talking about it on a podcast that I've got to get one out. And obviously we know, well, it's pre-order this Saturday for, well, at least when we're recording this, for Warriors of Chaos. So we're just going to do, obviously, the general list because we don't have access to any fancy stuff yet. And then hopefully, obviously, the Arcane Journal comes out on Saturday and we'll get even more. So, yeah, pretty excited. Is this an army that you've played before, Ed, or you're thinking of playing? Or...
So one of the first videos I put up was a sort of a gunline chaos list where I'd looked at loads of magic missiles. I was playing against the chaos there, actually, but I have played a little bit, and it's something that I'm looking at now, obviously, with the Arcane Journal coming out. There's a potential for 3 dragon lists. So we've seen Gorok, who I assume is going to be sub 500 points. We've seen that there's going to be a rare slot dragon, and maybe just take a cheap Chaos Lord. So I'm like, I do want 3 dragons.
Oh, that's crazy. I was going to ask you the opposite too. As we discuss, what are the lists in there that got no dragons? So it'll be interesting to see. Just, I don't know, can you play this army without a dragon, I guess is the question. But awesome. Cool. Well, let's... people who've seen our faction focuses before and other people doing them probably understands that the ordering of these books are a bit weird. So I'm going to jump over to, and I'll guide it and let you, pipe in, and we'll go alternating on some of the rules and stuff if that's cool, Ed. I'll jump over to special rules though, and we'll maybe gifts, like what are they called, the marks and stuff, just so people get a bit of an idea of that. Yep, and then I'll come back here to the Chaos Army list. We can go through the actual characters, and then I like to sort of have a look at the magic items before we get into the sort of the units, because I just feel like then we know what banners are available and all that sort of stuff. And yeah, you reminded me about this. There's a few Beastmen entries in this book too, so we might have to jump to some of them to remind some of the listeners. We have done a Beastman review, but obviously for me too, it's been a while. So cool. And yeah, feel free to jump in whenever, Ed, man. I get sick of my voice. You're probably the same in your podcast when you're just talking all the time. Cool. Special rules, pretty small amount here. Obviously, Chaos Armor comes up first. I'll go with these. We'll just alternate. Model with this special rule has a ward save against any wounds suffered. It's just obviously you can get some that's 6+, some that 5+. And obviously if it's a wizard, they can wear armor without penalty. So pretty straightforward on that one. Nothing too
this is really nice because you don't have to spend 30 points on a magic item to get a 5-up ward on your Chaos Lord and Dragon. Also means you can get multiple ward saves if you've got multiple characters, but that's harder to do because you've got really expensive characters.
Yeah, that's right. And it's also weapons.
Yeah, absolutely. A hand weapon carried by this model has AP1. It's only single hand weapons, so you can't use 2 hand weapons to get extra attacks with the Chaos Warriors, unfortunately. But it just gives you, magical attacks as well. Really nice. Obviously, ethereal models are something you've got to deal with, like the Green Knight. So just having that option, or just having, better attacks on your infantry models is quite nice as well.
Yeah, and that's what you're going to use it for, isn't it? Because, I mean, this is not like the Orcs choppers where you can put it on anything, unfortunately. But, yeah, that's all good. And then you get the Gaze of the Gods table, which is quite fun. So models with this rule, basically, during the command sub-phase, you don't have to roll, but you can roll on the Gaze of the Gods table. I mean, to summarize it, it's basically if you roll a 1, it's bad for you, stupidity, remainder of the game, and keeps getting worse for your leadership. Other than that, it's not too bad. 2 up is giving you a benefit, and then 4 up is giving you a permanent benefit. So, 2 is giving you, a +1 to your initiative, and 3 gives you a +1 to your toughness. So those 2 don't last, I guess. Is that next start of turn? Yeah.
Yeah.
But a 4-up will give you +1 weapon skill, 5-up will give, sorry, not 5-up, but a 5 will give you a +1 attack, and a 6 gives you a +1 strength and leadership. So pretty generous, 50% chance to get a good
Well,
permanent
83%
gain
chance to get
if you
just
take
something.
that item.
Yeah.
Well,
Oh, yeah.
yes, that too. And then there's this item that gives you a reroll. So, yeah.
I really like this. Across all editions of Chaos, we've seen some sort of like apotheosis table, 2d6, roll a 7, nothing happens, get a 12, become a demon prince, but get a 1, become a spawn. This is a much more balanced table. I like that there's mostly benefits, but there is still risk, but not really risk if you spend 5 points to just take a common magic item.
Yeah, and it also means if you're playing against them, it's almost like you want to get in combat and kill these things quicker. if
it really is,
turn 5 or 6.
I've been against Chaos Lords who have stacked up sort of 4 buffs, and you go, well, I didn't want to kill you in the first place, but now I
no, I can't. Yeah, that's crazy. But that's it for the special rules, so to speak. I mean, I guess the other one is, and I think it's down here, isn't it? Where's the bloody? No, where's their actual marks?
Yeah, that is something that's worth talking about. So you can either be undivided, where you get the reroll, fear, panic, or terror, or you can pay points to get one of the other 4 marks. Mark of Corn, obviously, giving you frenzy, very fitting. Mark and Nurgle, enemy models have to reroll 6s to hit you in combat. This is nice against poison and otherwise just a good defensive buff. Yeah, sort of the one that you see
poison, on the great. Especially now that it's FAQ'd. That, I mean, people are playing this up different ways, but the whole large target shoot poison. So,
absolutely.
I can imagine if this is on a demon prince, or not demon prince, a Nurgle dragon, at least isn't getting poisoned.
Yeah, unfortunately, only in melee, which is honestly probably for the best.
Oh, is it?
That might be oppressive.
It's during combat. You're right, sorry.
Yeah. But still really good. You'll see this one typically on the Lord on Dragon, who's going to be tooled up to the 9s. My favorite, Mark Sinesh, +1 initiative during the first round of combat, means that you can get initiative 5 with your great weapons, which is solid on the charge, or if you're using a fight last aura, you can get yourself to initiative 5, make sure you're striking first with halberds or something like that. So that's a really nice break point on that one. And then also Mark of Tzeentch, which is the rule that is also there, gives you flaming attacks. And if you've got a unit strength of 10, they give +1 to casting rolls for any characters that join them. So you might have sort of 1 bunker for a wizard.
Yeah.
Which,
and it can't just be like cav, 5 cav, for example, or a bunker of infantry.
Yeah, like a marauder bunker is quite nice because it's really cheap and you can just whack a load of models in and keep your lord safe.
And the MR -1's pretty good. And isn't there, we'll go into this, isn't there an item that can get you -2 MR2 on a champ, maybe, or something like that?
There might be. It's not one that I've looked at for a while, but Magic Resist is a rule that it's a rule that people didn't sort of take much at the start of the edition, but people are taking more and more.
That was one of my calls. I mean, I just thought this is going to be big, just because everything was 2d6 dice too. So when you roll it, when you're negativing stuff off, and then I think people are realizing that magic is big when cast and done at the right time. You know what I mean?
Yeah. So, I mean, I've been playing a Skaven Death Star with triple Obsidian Lodestone for that Magic Resist 3.
That's right. So you can't fireball off the unit. Whoa, that might be mine going stupid. Hopefully, that's not my internet.
It's all right. You dropped out for a second, but you still...
I think my my internet is good at the moment, so I don't know what it's doing. Hopefully that's not too bad. I can cut that out if not. All good. Cool. Yeah, that's awesome. So they're the marks. That's sort of marks / rules.
Yeah. I guess while you're finding the next bit, something to mention is if you're undivided, you can join any mark. Or if you've got a mark, you've got to join either that marked unit. So Khorne can only join Khorne or undivided units, which makes sense. You're not having a Nurgle Demon Prince joining some Khorne units.
Did you also see that the, in that law article, they were talking about trying to sort of promote more, I guess, undivided? Do you know what I mean? Like, I don't know if maybe that's why they put the rule the way they did a little bit. So
I probably did read that at the time and then have completely forgotten it. But
they just said that there's less single god stuff, and on top of that, they're not even mentioning it. So like Khorne isn't mentioned as god, Khorne as such. They're sort of like
right, of course, because we're in the run up to the sort of ruinous powers coming back. So that makes sense that there's less sort of specific god faction.
Like mono armies are not pushed as much,
and more just the pervasive corruption of chaos in general.
Yeah. So there's a method to the madness. Do you want to run us through the Grand Army comp?
Yeah, so I think this is an interesting one because it's untethered. You could have 1 Chaos Lord or Demon Prince which it would be nice to have both, but they do end up being quite expensive. But then your Sorcerer Lord, your level 4 caster, you can have one of those per 1,000 points, and that's not tied to your top level melee characters as well. So theoretically, you could just about fit in a Demon Prince and 2 Sorcerer Lords if you wanted to go for a real sort of absolute casting nightmare, just as many models as possible. They're tied to your sort of your mid-level hero with 75 points of magic items, the exalted champion, and then you can have uncapped aspiring champions and exalted sorcerers. So for chaos, you're not really limited by the amount of models you're allowed to take. You're limited by your points as opposed to anything else, which is an interesting way to do it.
Yeah. And do you think the Chaos Lord and Demon Prince, it's just because I guess it's similar to, like, is it like the Bretonian? Is it the Duke? That's, you can't take. So if you play a 10,000 point game, you're effectively only still taking one. But outside of that, like you said, it's an addition. It's an additional good character that's on top of what used to be sort of the Sorcerer Lord level characters. So.
And it makes sense from like a fluff perspective. A Demon Prince is going to want to be in charge, or a Lord's going to want to be in charge. So not having crossed
and it's his army. Yeah, that's exactly right. So all good.
Absolutely. So into core, we've got Warriors, Marauders, Forsaken, Chaos Knights, Marauder Horsemen, and Warhounds. And key, there's no sort of 0 to 1 per 1,000 points. You're not tied in. You don't have to take anything, which is nice.
Particular unit. Yeah, that's right. So you can go full like cavalry, you can go Marauders, you can go infantry. I mean, without jumping too far ahead on some of those things, there's enough variety, I guess, in that core that you're not. Like we know infantry's suffering a little bit, but I guess you don't have to take that, because you've got a bunch of different stuff there. So, and even the Warhounds are quite solid for what they do potentially. So
I love chaff. I think chaff are the best 40 points you can put in an army. I'll spend 200
right. I think
points.
For 35 points you get it. I think they were the ones
God, that's so cheap.
+1. I think you can get them 2 attack. I can't remember what it was. I was looking at it going, wow, that's pretty good for 35 points. I think you can give I think it's Khorne Warhounds are like 35 points or something.
I'll be honest, I hadn't even looked at marking them. I was just like, these are so cheap. They just stand out and they die. This is fantastic.
Yeah.
Into special, you've got your 0 to 1 chosen Chaos Warriors, 0 to 1 chosen Chaos Knights. Nice that it's not tied to each other. So you can have, if you wanted to go really elite, you can go for a brick of the chosen Warriors and chosen Knights as well. You've got a whole host of the weird Gribblies, Ogres, Trolls, Spawn, Dragon Ogres, and Chimeras. And then you've also got Chaos Chariots in special. Into rare, you've got the Gorby's Chariots, which are just the souped up ones with Killing Blow on as well, because who doesn't want more aggressive chariots? You can take a Hell Cannon.
Blow another chariot, but anyway.
Yeah, that's a good point. But they like beating on infantry, so if we see more infantry, that'll be exciting. One Hell Cannon per 1,000 points. A Dragon Ogre Shaggoth per unit of Dragon Ogres, and Chaos Giant per 1,000 points in the rare slot as well. And then you've got Mercenaries and Allies, which I don't think anyone ever really thinks about.
No, not at the moment. What do you think of the 0 to 1 unit of chosen, like in terms of that's capped as well, basically? It's not per 1,000, it's just locked.
I think if this was a different army, if this was like Empire or Bretonians, I'd be more upset about it. But they're so points dense. It's really hard to justify fitting. Yeah, absolutely. Maybe you might want to go 2 units of Chaos Knights, but then you're going, oh, how am I going to fit? What am I sacrificing in my character slot? So I think it's not as much of a limitation as it looks like.
Yeah, cool. And obviously, I mean, I like how they've mixed these, the Beastmen armies into here. And I would imagine down the track, if demons were in here from day one, maybe, and it was a different timeline, you might have seen a similar mix.
Old World 2.0, baby.
Yeah,
calling it now,
which is pretty cool.
Awesome. Something else.
Okay.
Sorry, the battle standard bearer. Just worth noticing that you can have it on the exalted champion or the aspiring champion, which is just
nice.
I don't know. Yeah, I don't know any other army that does that. And
that's very true.
If you just want a more beta character with your BSB and spend loads of points on it, you can do.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah, very true. I mean, can you get to the point where you get one of those chariot, the guys who are like, he's a BSB, he's a banner, he's a, I don't know, probably not a banner, but BSB's on
you definitely can.
He's got a fair bit of stacked up combat res for just one little dude.
Yeah, that's probably, if I was doing a BSB on chariot, that's probably the angle I'd go.
No worries. Let's go through quickly though for here we go. magic. So I don't know if it's sorry if my thing's lagging a bit. We'll just see how we go. I don't know why. It's supposed to be good internet today. I'm not sure what it's doing. Too much other live streaming today, and I think it's kicking in.
It's had enough.
Yeah, who knows? It'll be right. Warriors of Chaos, magic arm. So yeah. Oh, sorry. No, I was going to go through all this. Sorry, I'm jumping around the place. Let's go through the characters first. Yep. So talking about these guys. So these are your champions. We talked about them. The Chaos Lord, you get 0 to 1 of them. He is a beef. He's always been a beef stick. He still is. 195 points. Weapon skill 7, strength 5, tough 5, 4 wounds, 5 attacks, initiative 6. Obviously, heavy infantry comes with plate, and then lots of different weapons options. I'm not going to go through everything here, but obviously, straight out of the box with a shield, you can get him to a 3-up. Obviously, we'll talk about mounts and stuff. He can be all the marks that we just talked about. And gifts. So we will get to that as well, because after we get through characters, they can have some cool gifts on top of the magic item. So 150 points basically of, extra presents to give to this guy. Obviously, we've seen a lot of him at the moment with dragons and stuff. So how do you rate the Chaos Lord?
Oh, he's incredible. He's very pricey, but for what you get, he's fantastic. Coming in at almost 200 before any upgrades, though, is you're paying through the nose.
I guess the question is, do you see a lot of him if he wasn't on a dragon?
I have played against some on mounts, which is not sort of like the go-to optimal choice, but it also means you can fit more stuff in, which I don't hate. Just an absolute beta. At that point, I'm more, I think, excited to see like an Exalted Champion, because at 125 points, you've got basically a Lord level character for any other army, which is
exactly. I mean,
great.
He's an orc. I'm just looking at it. He's a slightly better orc warlord, maybe, or around about the same.
I think he's an orc war, a Lord level orc character, just without the toughness 5, which is
tough 4. Sorry, you're right.
Just kill them before they kill you. That's I really like him. Lots of options there, and obviously a good host of magic items and gifts to really spend all your paycheck on.
Yeah, and as you said back when we look at the special rules, they've got a 5-up ward straight out included in that point cost.
Yeah.
Plus magical attacks if you wanted it. Obviously, the gaze of the gods. This guy can get up to, potentially a lot more other buffs here, including attacks and things like that, and strength and weapon skill. Mark of Chaos Undivided, which we talked about, Rallying Cry, which is pretty good as well. I guess. Yeah. Not having to take BSBs and stuff all the time.
Yeah, it's a rule that I never actively put in my lists, but then sometimes you've got a unit that's fleeing, you're like, hold on, this has just saved my ass. I can, rally.
It's got a
hell yeah.
Yeah. So pretty good. Is there anything else you want to touch on those block of?
Fairly standard. I really like the Exalted Champion having 75 points of magic items. Just opens up, the ability to go a bit hitty and defensive. You could theoretically give an Ogre Blade to a mid-level character, which is nice. It's just a nice midpoint. I wish more armies had those mid characters.
Well, I thought they were, when I first saw the Bretonian game, when they leaked that Bretonian Baron, whatever it was, right at the beginning, the before we got the game, and I was like, they're bringing out some. We're going to get better characters, And no, only Brett's got them. Obviously,
Brett's Chaos and no one else.
Yeah. Dwarves are sort of, but even dwarves, no one gets wounds 4, on a normal Lord, pretty much.
That's a good point.
For Tomb Kings and stuff. I think Tomb Kings, yes. No, they got a better toughness. I can't remember what it was, but
I think it's Tomb King is 3 wounds T5. So this is basically
6th edition where you'd always took this magic item that gave you an extra wound. So you had toughness 5, 4 wound character in 6th edition. It was just a tank.
He's an absolute beater. He's the one downside to being T5 inherently is the way they've done the additional stats for mounts. So when you've got +1 wound or +1 toughness for like a Chaos Dragon or something else, then if you put a non-Lord character on it, you end up with a worse toughness. But for this model specifically, it's fantastic. It's a real beefcake.
Yeah, no, it's awesome. Cool. And then we get into the Demon Prince, 215 points, weapon skill 7, strength 6, tough 5, so not up there, but tough 6 monsters. Wounds 4, and attacks 5. And I can't remember, you might be able to remember if you did you play a lot of 8th?
So I actually came from 40k, and I hadn't played fantasy for about 15 years before getting into Old World.
I can't remember where the Demon Prince sat. I mean, you used to see it a lot in 8th, but I just can't remember where he sat in terms of his wounds and stuff. He feels a little bit less than he used to be, but at a good point. at the same time, it means you can take them. You know what I mean? Like they used to be like, I don't know. They used to be like you put a demon prince and all this stuff on them. They were quite points, expensive. And then you get shot off the board, obviously, with a cannon. You know,
Great times.
I feel like these potentially could be a little different, but and just being monsters infantry, the ability to fly and skirmish, I think they're pretty cool. But they've only got 4 wounds, which just doesn't stand up against a lord on a chariot or a or a dragon.
Yeah, defensively, basically the same as a Chaos Lord. But as a monstrous infantry, you'd expect maybe a 5th wound on there. But...
Exactly, and maybe that's a balance. It probably is obviously a balance thing. But the same thing with the demons. When I was playing them a little bit, I was like, oh, you're looking at the greater demons, and then you look at the demon prince. You're like, oh, this dude's going to die pretty quick from just magic missiles or something.
Yeah,
especially demons. You won't have a save. But apart from that, he's fly. Well, he can be fly 9, but that's 30 points. Pushes him up again. And he's a level, what is he?
Level 0.
Maybe a wizard. He's level 0. You got to pay for that as well. And then he gets 50 points of chaos gifts and 100 points straight up of magic items as well. He's got a 4-up chaos armor though.
That is nice.
That does help that wound marker a little bit. Fear goes to the god immune. Not terror. Interesting. He is warp spawned though, so that is still the rule. Oh no, warp spawn just means you can't join non-warp spawned things, isn't it?
So he loses his regeneration, unfortunately, if he's hit by magical attacks.
It's the regen, but not the ward. Okay. Unbreakable, Law of Chaos, Mark of Chaos Undivided. Okay, yeah, immune to psych. Yeah, where does he sit? I mean, obviously, it sounds like this is something you'd consider if you're doing a multi-magic build.
Yeah, I quite like the Demon Prince. I think if we see, for any reason, the Dragon Lord become less optimal, I think we might see more Demon Princes. I'm less excited about this one than I am the Demons one, because I like putting a Demon Prince in a unit, but because he's unbreakable, you can't put him in a unit that isn't unbreakable. So that leaves you with, I think, just Chaos Spawn, which is not... Yeah, it's
but then they're random ideal. Movement too, are they?
Yeah.
Does that work? I don't even know.
I think you just move...
Still can, but...
Yeah, you roll the random movement and you move up to whatever the Demon Prince can do. I'd have to double check that one. But yeah, a lot of less options for this guy. But yeah, he's a beefcake. He hits hard. He's strength 6 natively. So, 5 attacks, strength 6, AP 1 from the ensorcelled weapons. A great place to put, I've mentioned it 3 or 4 times already, Ogre Blade. If you want someone to just run around and stab things, 5 attacks base, you can get an extra attack with an extra arm, although I think that might have to be just with a base hand weapon. Moderately tanky, he can't get a great armor save unless you're spending your magic points on it. Magic item points, heavy armor caps a 5-up save, but then he's got a 4-up ward and a 5-up regen. So yeah, I think he's an interesting one. He takes more finesse to use, but he is solid. Yeah,
I wonder if there's definitely some builds here with some of those. I mean, again, we'll get to it. Magic items that give you even MR -2 on this guy, and then you've got the Ogre Blade, and you're flying around just trying to kill people, but no one can kill him first, because he's unhittable type thing. It'd be interesting. Or at least you can't shoot him off.
Something that is interesting, because he's monstrous infantry. He has that 360-degree charge arc, which is nice. But he's also screenable, so you can give him that lone character protection if you keep him near other infantry, which is nice.
Yeah, this is the scary thing. And his flies, if you give him the fly, I mean, he's sitting there ready to go. If you get too close to him. So, yeah, that's interesting. I think you're right, though, with the wounds and everything. I think if he was a bit too tough, he probably would be over the top, you know what I mean? In terms of... Or, hey, maybe that's a good thing, because then you have to choose between him and the dragon. I don't know.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, Sorcerer of Chaos. So we've got level 3, level 1, as we usually see. For a wizard, kind of, 3 attacks, 3 wounds, weapon skill 5, tough 4, tough. I mean, they can still fight, so to speak. And then standard heavy infantry, battle magic. Oh, same as sorry, we didn't mention this, but same as the Demon Prince. They can take battle magic, demonology, or dark magic.
Great spells.
Yeah, obviously only the 3 marks, because he's not going to be Khorne. And then the upgrades to the magic, all that's pretty much the same. Again, chaos armor, which is awesome. He can cast, so he's got a 5-up ward, even though he's a magic user. Look, these guys are obviously they're good magic use, and they've got some great magic items as well. So
yeah, we'll get to that. But I think every list that I write for Chaos starts with a level 4 sorcerer.
Yeah.
And maybe if you go for a demon prince, you go, oh, actually, I don't need the sorcerer. But I think you probably still put one in anyway. They're fantastic. They've got an empire general stat line, so
Yeah.
they're okay in combat. Which
You
is
start
not bad.
going, I've got to really look at these assailment spells here. Yeah.
But
even that, that's the thing. Usually you want to keep them out of combat. Not that you're going to throw this guy in specifically, but I mean, you don't care if you end up in combat.
Yeah, you're reasonably beefy because you've got demonology. You can go for demonology. Steed of Shadows upper unit of infantry, which makes chaos infantry a little bit more usable than other infantry. And then if you're in that unit, you can turbocharge them, which is
exactly
solid.
Yeah, had that done to me, so that's all good. Yeah, hence why I'm starting to play around with some things. So
I don't know if it's worth having a quick look at the laws of chaos because there's some specific
we
spells.
can do that too. Let's do that. So we got the Undivided spell, Wind of Chaos, which is a 21-inch hex. Casts on a 7 or a 9, so it's like one of these ones that has 2 values. On a 7, the target unit is -1 to movement, and on a 9, it's -2. And it lasts until the start of your next sub phase. So it's one of these movement debuffs, sort of not as what's that? What's the illusion one?
Is it Miasmic Mirage?
Yeah, that stops you charging.
And marching.
And marching, yeah. But this is just a debuff to your movement.
I
don't know.
It's fine. I'm never excited to take it, but if you've rolled a real stinker for your 4th spell, it's a long range hex, which is
long range. Yeah, exactly. 21 inches is interesting. The only thing with chaos, I would imagine, is you're the one, you want to be in combat most of the time anyway.
Oh,
so do you really, I don't know.
Chaos are definitely a pressure army. You put your army on the table, you roll, you go first, you put your entire army in front of your opponent and go, you've got 1 turn to deal with me.
Yeah, exactly.
That's the game plan.
The -1 to movement's not crazy there. Acquiescence for the Slanesh is a hex. It's a short range 12-inch and gives you the target unit strike last. So that's good.
I'd be a lot more excited about this if there wasn't a gift of chaos that gave enemy units strike last.
Oh, right. Okay. Well,
it's fine.
Yeah.
I could see you using it. It's a short range hex. It goes off easily. But, strike last is very powerful, especially if you're... Oh, no, until the end of the combat phase. So it falls off before your next turn anyway. So you can't even just make it hard for your opponent to charge you.
Yeah, that's probably a little bit of a disappointing one. Fleshy Abundance, Enchantment. This is the Nurgle one. Remains in play. It's a self. Whilst this spell is in play, the cast in any unit, they have gained +1 modifier to their toughness. So
this does last into your opponent's turn, but it remains in play. I think I'd rather this was just a sort of last until your next starter's turn. But yeah, if you want a big brick of infantry and you've got a character that's going to stay out of dispel range, that's something you can do.
Yeah, I mean, tanking toughness it's pretty good. It's again it depends on what else you've rolled up and what you're trying to do, I guess, but not too bad. And then Blue Fire, this is a magic missile, 9 + 18 inches, D6 + 3, strength 4, AP -2, flaming attack special rules. Another great magic missile.
Disgusting. Yeah. this is so basically the plan is I'm going Zinch on my caster. I'm going to go battle magic, so I get Pillar of Fire and Fireball, and then I'm going to change one of my spells to Blue Fire as well, and just go. I got them guns.
Yeah, it's like I'm pretty sure this is the same as the one in the Demon book, is it?
No, the one in the Demon book is way worse. This is the best.
Okay.
I think this is the best magic missile in the game.
Oh, okay, right. It's the AP -2 as well. Oh my god.
Yeah. D6 + 3. I'll take that over 2d6 every day of the week. That consistency is.
Yeah, no, it's good. It's not too bad for these Law of Chaos. At least at the end of the day, you're probably taking Zench for your casters a lot of the time anyway, so you'd be taking this one. Cool. Did you want to touch? Let's do the mounts quickly, and then we can touch on. Let's go through the gifts and the magic items. Because where are we? Every time I click back on the bookmark, go back, missed it. Character mounts. So we basically have Chaos, basically the Lords, Chaos Steed, Demonic Mount, Chaos Chariot, Gorby's Chariot. We might skip the Chariots and talk about them when we get to them. Manticore and the Chaos Dragon, and then the Wizards are pretty much Chaos Steed, Demonic Mounts, a Chaos Chariot, and Manticore, Chaos Dragon, so just not the Gore Beast. The Chaos Steed's heavy cav. Apart from that, first charge, Swift Stride, movement 7, strength 4. I mean, obviously you're putting me on this if you're hanging around. I mean, well, what are you putting on this? I guess is the question. Probably with
A cheap sorcerer, yeah.
Yeah.
Get you some mobility on your sorcerer lord. I think that's the main use for
And then a
this
bit
one.
of cover as well. Then hanging around.
Yeah.
If you're not taking a lot of infantry and you got cav.
Yeah, doesn't have counter charge. I can't remember if they fixed that one so that counter charge is the full. I think you need every model in the unit.
Yeah, I think so. And is the only one that is it chaos? It's only the chosen of chaos counter charge.
I believe so. Yeah, I don't think the normal lines do.
Yeah.
So probably not putting a character in with them, which is fine because they'll kill anything anyway. So
yeah, that's right. And then you got the demonic mount, which is so this is a 40 by 60 monstrous cav, or up to 50 by 75 as well. Gives you +1 wound on your character, movement 8, strength 5, weapon skill 4, 2 attacks, armor bane 1, fear, magical attacks, mark of chaos as rider. Okay, stomp attacks 1, swift stride.
Yeah, this is a fun mount. It's obviously monstrous cavalry. If you wanted to have a lone character to do sort of like a poor impression of a Bretonian character to have a 360-degree charge arc, it's fine, but it doesn't have barding, which is a bit of a shame. So you're capped at a much lower save than you would be.
Right. Yeah. Okay. Yep.
I think that's probably the main reason we don't see this as opposed to the dragon. Just it's hard to get a good save lone character with this model.
Yeah, right. No worries. But then we also have, I'll jump to these now. We might as well talk through them now. I'll skip the chariots. I mean, we'll talk about the chariots when we do the chariots, but let's look at the ones that have to be on a character, which is the Manticore. Actually, let's do the dragon first, and we'll come back to the Manticore because I wouldn't mind asking you about him.
Sure.
This is the one that obviously everyone is up at, not, I shouldn't say up in arms, but it's just...
this is the one you'll see.
This is the guy. Yeah, basically. Weapon skill 6, strength 7 for a dragon, toughness +1, so you're tough 6, and then you have 10 wounds if you got the Lord on there. Initiative 4, 6 attacks. And then, yeah, I mean, just straight up, that stat line's freaking awesome. Two-headed dragon as the rule. So Darkfire of Chaos is just his attack, isn't it? Breath weapons, yeah. His close order, fly 10, large target, stomp attacks D6, swift stride, terror, and the two-headed dragon, which is...
breath weapons.
Basically use either of the breath weapons. Oh, God, that's confusing. Okay. One of the breath weapons being... what's it called? Strength 4 at AP -1, and the other one's a strength 2 with no armor save, effectively. No ward, just no armor save. Which you don't see a lot of people using the breath weapons anyway. At least I've found that.
Yeah, if you were putting a sorcerer on there, it becomes a lot more exciting because you might be using it as like a mobile gun platform. Yeah, but then also, you've got a T5 Chaos Dragon if you do that because they're only T4.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. I feel like the breath weapons, they're interesting, but I sort of feel like maybe they should have, it's 8th where you could still do it in combat, but it was just like a D6 or a 2D6 hit type thing. Would be kind of interesting.
Yeah, I was talking to one of the lads who did some of the playtesting for Games Workshop staff, and he was like, oh, yeah, no, you can march and shoot breath weapons, which is not the way that the community plays it, nor how it's written. So I don't know if that made it to print or if it needs to be FAQ'd. Right. But
if that was FAQ, then you probably would see that. Yeah.
Because a lot of the time, turn 1, you're going to be marching up, and maybe you're, ending
take some chaff out with it and then charge
Absolutely.
over it. Yeah. I think,
But as it stands, there's not much point in using it, which is
they're probably like, oh, that was wrong, but do we need to buff dragons anymore? Probably not.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And then he's got his weapons. He's just, AP, pretty standard. AP -2 attack there.
Not quite as good as the best Star Dragon that High Elf can have, but the rider's much better. You can layer way more buffs onto this thing. Obviously, Fly 10 is great. Is it the only one that hits toughness 10? Wounds 10 though. Is the elf one goes to 9? Is that right? Yeah, that's right.
Yeah.
Which is just such a daft amount of wounds.
Oh, it's insane. Yeah. It's very good character. But I guess the other thing I want to talk about the Manticore a little bit, just because, maybe run through this one. But obviously, this is the model that's coming out, it's already out, if you know what
Yeah.
I mean. Because I don't know what they're doing around providing a Lord on Dragon model, because I'm sure everyone just buys the AOS ones. But
And then
is
struggles
this...
to fit it on a tiny base.
Yeah, that's right. So the Manticore, do you want to run through this guy? And I guess my question is, do you see usefulness with this guy? Does he get overshadowed, by the...
I don't want to be negative,
Right.
but even though this is a PDF, I feel like this is a waste of ink.
Okay. That's so sad.
So it's my big gripe with Manticores is they don't give you plus toughness, which is not so bad if you want to put a Chaos Lord on one, because you've got a T5 model. But if you put a Lord on there, it's T4, which is just not
it just doesn't stand up. Toughness 6 is like break point, isn't it? For the top part of your army, at least.
So you've got, it's got 4 attacks at strength 5 AP2, which is nice. You don't have to take the Venomous Tail, which is an upgrade over something like a Wyvern, where you've got to make one of your attacks that strikes first with no AP, which is just not worth doing. So that's nice. Here's the downside. You've got to take a leadership test using its own unmodified leadership. So if you've got a rider, you still use the rider's test leadership. And Chaos have good leadership, but if you fail, you become frenzied. Which is because otherwise I could see you putting like a Sorcerer Lord on here. Sure, the toughness is bad, but for 120 points you get extra wounds,
4 wounds,
extra mobility, but just that frenzy. And it's a fly 9 Swift Stride model, so that's a threat range of what, 18 inches.
Yeah, exactly.
You're gonna fail that leadership test at some point and just go, guess my Lord's in combat with your dragon.
Yeah, because it's basically just not as tough, because the Wyvern's about 120 anyway, isn't it?
135, I think, for or 130. So it's in that same
it's in that
ballpark.
Same ballpark. Yeah.
Gets you up to T6, and this just doesn't.
Yeah, it's a bit of a shame. No, that's it. Yeah, because I've seen one army take it on his Chaos Lord, but it might have been more the model. I don't know if he didn't have a dragon model. But,
I've played against it, and I wasn't impressed.
Yeah, that's it. Well, it's that tough. You're 100% right. It's the toughness, because whenever you see anything that's got tough 5, you sort of go, okay, well, I can beat it. I can beat it up as long as I've got the tools to do it.
Yeah. T5, I'm not even too bothered about. I could see it if you could get the Sorcerer Lord to T5. I'd be okay with it, I think. But just having a T4 caster is
yeah. Okay, that's what you mean. Yeah, fair enough. Cool. Okay. Let's jump. Did we miss any of the other mounts? They were the 2 ones apart from the chariots, and the
Yeah, we covered them all apart from the chariots, I think.
Yeah, cool. Awesome. Well, before we hit infantry then, let's go through some of now that we've talked about, as I said, it's not a massive army list in terms of the character options and stuff. So, but what you do have is a heap of not only magic items, but gifts as well. So I thought maybe let's cover some of these and use them in our heads when we're thinking about the rest of the army list as well. So we'll just go one for one if you want. So Dark Majesty, 50 points. And what most of these characters can take, well, like the Lord and the Demon Prince and stuff can take, is it 50 of these? Was there others that took less? Or there wasn't?
From memory, I think it might be 50 for everyone. My camera's frozen. Can you still hear me at least?
I can hear you. Yeah, I don't know.
Perfect.
Maybe it's StreamYard today going crazy.
Yeah, maybe. It's fine. We'll just talk about these and I'll look really contemplative. So that's not a problem.
Right.
I guess if we want to start off with Dark Majesty, 50 points, if your opponent's making fear or terror tests within command range, they do so at an additional -1 to a minimum of 2. That's a lot of points for a -1 that's conditional.
Yeah, the one when I first read, I like these leadership debuffs, but then they sort of need to be joined up with a lot of other ones, and I wasn't sure how much this army list had on that, if you know what I mean. Did you try and add yourself back in and out?
I did, yeah.
Didn't work? Oh, God,
no.
So annoying. I don't know what it's done. Maybe it's playing up today. I don't know. It was fine for the stream, but anyway, that's okay. A lot of points, especially that's your whole allotment going as well. You're just for a -1. I guess it's good. So you're basically doing a -2 terror test if you're getting charged by. Oh no, the Demon Prince doesn't even cause terror.
Yeah, and also the
So
terror
the
only.
would.
I believe doesn't terror only give you -1 to leadership if you're in combat with them? Yeah. So. You're never actually stacking those 2 together, unfortunately, which is a real shame. I will say something I do like is that you've got 50 points to spend and you can have multiple gifts. So it means that the cheap ones do have more play as opposed to just
Yeah, like the demon
Yeah.
one where it's just one. Yeah, okay. Yeah, demon. Well, yeah. Sorry, you go. Oh no, you did that one, didn't you? Demon flesh, 45 points. Cannot be wounded by a roll of a 2, basically. So regardless, so basically, you know, on a tough model, or a weaker model, but with high strength coming in, they still have to roll a 3 up at least.
Yeah.
Yeah, 45 points. I mean, so what? I don't know.
Does your mate play as many cannons as possible? I think that's the only time that I'd.
Yeah.
I don't know that I love this for 45 points, but yeah, if you're
does
expecting,
it defend you a little against the ogre blade? Not really.
Yeah, I guess so. If you're expecting to see, yeah, if the meta you play in is cannons, stone throwers, and chaos lords on dragons with ogre blades, I'm slightly interested in this. But I think there's a better choice to defend you in combat, at least down the line.
Yeah, it's all to do with the hits, probably. The extra arm, 40 points. Oh, so this is yours, but I'll take it now. This character, not them out, has a +1 model. +1 attack for 40 points. Ooh.
Yeah, well, this is, so it's steep, but it is better than the demon one, because I think the demon one means you have to take it with just like a normal hand weapon attack. This is just, if you've got a magic item, you get to make an extra attack with the ogre blade. So that would get you up to, that's 6 on a demon prince.
Yeah.
It's a lot of attacks. Again, I'm probably not doing it, but it's an option.
Yeah. I'll let you take this one, man.
Much appreciated. Diabolic Splendor. I really like this one, actually. Any model that targets this character or any unit they've joined during the shooting phase suffers an additional -1 to hit modifier. So this is something that if you're going for a caster bunker is quite nice. You can make it so that any enemy ballistic skill shooting, not that we see a huge amount of that, is hitting you at -1 to hit, which is nice.
Yeah, and can you do that? Is the Marauders, can you pay for skirmish with them or something? Can you make a cheap skirmishing?
So the problem with skirmishing Marauders is I believe they're light infantry, and you can't attach heavy infantry.
Yes.
Yeah, because of skirmishes.
60s, they're on 30s as well, and they're heavies. Yes, that's right. Yeah. So, yeah, okay. I was just wondering if there was any.
When we see a Marauder character coming down the line in the Arcane Journal, maybe you put that on them. I don't know if you do, but that's potentially something to think about.
Yeah. Enchanting Aura, 35 points. But as you said, you get into the cheaper ones and they start becoming attractive. Enemy units engaged in combat with this character cannot use the strike first special rule. Enemy models that do not have this get the strike last special rule.
Yeah, you're going to see this on every Chaos Dragon, basically, because not only is he going to hit you very, very hard, he's going to hit you first.
Yeah. Yeah. No, it's really good. And that's the one you're talking about. Hey, rather than cast a spell, you got this guy.
Yeah, absolutely. Aura of Pain, 30 points once per game. When this character's combat is chosen, a single enemy unit suffers D6 strength 3 hits with no armor or regen saves permitted, but you get ward saves. What a weird 30 points to spend.
Yeah. I was wondering if these things were sitting more in that champion range and champs could sort of do this, then that'd be interesting.
Yeah.
Because they're sort of taking on infantry, but because,
that would be interesting, because then when you challenge with a champion as well, you're like, oh, but you might take some D6 strength 3 hits with no armor save. That's enough to maybe deter a mid-level character.
Yeah. Master Immortals, 25 points. Unless it's fleeing, friendly units of Chaos Marauders and Marauder Horsemen gain +1 modifier to their leadership characteristic whilst within the character's command range. So it's just those Marauders, basically.
Right now, I don't care. In 2 weeks?
Yes, probably. Well, that's what I'm thinking. If they've got this, Norse. What do they call it? The wolf. What was the one they're talking about?
I think you've said all the words, and I don't know which order they go in, but I think it's like Sea Wolf, Norse, Marauder list.
Whatever it is. Yeah, cool. No, that's the thing. I was thinking that too, because obviously, that'll bring in more Marauders, and then obviously that's when you want to be doing this, especially if you're using them to do fleas and stuff like that.
And people need to start running away from combats more. That's my big bit of advice.
I can't believe. I mean, I keep playing the damn rule wrong. That's my problem. And now that I know the real rule, I'm like, why doesn't everyone not flee and just cause me to be in the middle of nowhere and get just smashed?
100%.
It's insane the things you do wrong because you just assume it's how it worked. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, but it's just the more games you play, the more things you pick up. I learn something every game I play still, which is such a fun place to be in with the old world.
And I think the other thing is I've played mostly, obviously I've been playing Tomb King, so I don't flee, so I haven't
that's
used the
fair.
rule. And then I've been playing Andrew most of the time, who plays undead, who like vamps, who doesn't run away, or dwarves, who never flee either. Like,
Yeah.
why would you run away as a dwarf? You know what I mean? Like, it's like, in general anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Acid.
it's just,
Oh,
yeah.
sorry.
I was just
Uh,
saying, I do not want to play elves. Like the wood elves, I know they're bad, but they must be even super bad with this, like with that fleeing.
yeah, they are hard to pin down, that's for sure.
Anyway, that's a totally different topic. But yes, totally
Speaking
get
of being
that's a really
pinned
good
down,
point.
Acid Ichor for 15 points. If you lose a wound in a character, the enemy that caused it suffers a strength 4 hit at AP2. Chaos do have enough wounds to make this matter, but also
You're losing anyway.
yeah, just kill them.
Kill them instead. Yeah, I don't like these ones that are like, oh, you benefits if you're dying. Yeah, well, cool.
Yeah.
Poisonous slime. This character, but not the amount, has a poison attack special rule.
I think this is fine.
Yep, 15 points. That's all your attacks, isn't it? So.
Yeah, like if you take this with the Ogre Blade, it makes your character even more expensive, but you're probably taking the Enchanting Aura for 35 points. So you've got 15 points left. If you have 15 points spare in your character slot, which unlikely, I don't hate throwing this on. It just makes you slightly more reliable with killing stuff, especially the big stuff where you might only be wounding on 3s instead of 2s.
Yeah, totally. Cool.
Before we do magic items, do you want me to just quickly reload, see if this will...
Yeah, do that. Awesome. Okay, well, we're going to get into magic items here after all those characters and things and gifts. Can't remember who was up, but let's go. I'll go Demon Sword, 75 points. Whew. Combat, strength as user plus D3, but minus 2 AP, extra attacks D3, magical attack strike first, but every roll of a natural 1 made when rolling to hit with this weapon results in a hit, which must be resolved against the unit the wielder has joined rather than the enemy. If the wielder has not joined, it gets resolved against him. Huh. Have you ever seen this used?
Well, so I've seen this in every edition of Fantasy that I remember, and it's always been cool. So we'll start with that. Yeah. I think, again, like just to say Ogre Blade, if Ogre Blade didn't exist, I'd be excited about this.
Right. Yeah.
But Ogre Blade does exist.
Yeah. D3, extra D3. Yeah. You know what's funny? I think it was a Val, I think, proposed that there should be a tournament where every army has to take the highest weapon. Yeah, I think that'd be hilarious.
So I don't think it's bad. Like, let's be clear. Strength plus D3. So at base, you're like, okay, I'm at least strength 6. AP2 is fine. Additional D3 attacks. Strikes first is nice. Just don't roll ones to hit. Otherwise, you're hitting yourself.
I mean, you because you were going to put this on something that's by itself anyway, aren't you? You're going to be on Dragon. You're going to be on a bloody...
Yeah.
Yeah, that's fair enough. Yeah,
I think if you really want to make this work, you're more willing to put it into a unit of infantry.
Yeah, just treat them like the old dark
big brick of marauders. You're like, I'm just going to kill 3 marauders every turn, and I'm going to kill everyone else.
Yeah, and if it wasn't 75 points, like if it was locked down and you could have it on something that was a bit. So what do you say? It was the not the chaos. What's the middle guy?
The Exalted Champion.
The Exalted Champ who can take a 75 pointer. That'd be interesting.
If you want to get really spicy, you could put this on the Exalted Champion. I'm not sure what world. Maybe on a chariot.
Yeah, because you need. That's the thing. You've just given up all your defense and stuff, haven't you? Yeah.
I think you've given up if you take this, but no, it's fun. I like it. It's flavorful. We've got the Chaos Rune Sword, 45 points, so much more reasonable here. Strength plus 1, AP minus 1, magic attacks, plus 1 to your weapon skill and initiative. Just take a great weapon.
I was going to say, like, do you need that buff? Do you know what I mean? Plus, you're probably going to roll that on your Gifts of God table.
That's true.
Or whatever it's called,
so if you basically you're paying for the weapon skill and initiative and strength because ensorcel weapons give you AP 1 anyway. So yeah, I don't think this isn't for me.
Yeah. The Filth Mace for 40 points, though. It's a strength plus 1, minus 1 AP magical attack. Any enemy model that suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds immediately takes a toughness test. If it's failed, they suffer minus 1 modifier until the end of the turn. I mean, I would have thought you're attacking things with pretty high toughness, so it's a lot of points for nothing. The only thing I think these type of ones, I think I can't remember which books it's in, but there's a couple of other ones where you knock their toughness down for the rest of the game. I thought, those type of things are interesting, but yeah, I don't know about that.
Yeah, even those, because it's specifically models, it's not units. So say you kill 3 infantry models, it doesn't matter. You don't take the test. So realistically,
If it was like a dragon bow type thing, and if you took a wound, then you could do it from range and go, oh, now your dragon's tough 5. That type of thing might be interesting.
But it keeps the until end of turn, so you never get to combo it anyway.
I know, that's the thing. Like, it's no.
Spell Thieving Sword, 20 points. Strength user, AP -1, magic attacks. Any enemy wizard that suffers 1 or more unsaved wounds from a Spell Thieving Sword immediately forgets a single spell. Just take a weapon that kills them.
Yeah, I know that
then they lose all their spells.
I was like reading that initially, going, okay, maybe you can try and if you snipe the character out.
So like the use case for this would be if we're seeing loads of casters on dragons and you're like, oh well, I'm not going to kill them in one go.
Yes,
but then
true.
You're probably not killing them with a strength 4 AP1 attack anyway.
Yeah,
so
yeah. Did you read that one? Yes. Armor of the Damned, 70 points. The Armor of the Damned is a suit of full plate armor. In addition, during the combat phase, enemy models must reroll successful 2 hits against the wearer. Like, to me, that's good. It's just 70 points. Oh,
yeah, you're paying. Oh, have I really? I can see it on my screen.
It's not. No. It's just, maybe it's my lag this time. I was checking when you were off before. I was checking my internet was fine, so I don't know what it's doing. That's for the software. So what do you think of this one, sorry?
You're right. 70 points is very steep. So the use case for this is a Demon Prince, because they can't get full plate natively. So you can get them up to that 4-up save, but then you don't get them anything else. At that point, just take the common magic item, or the regular magic item that gives you a 3-up save, armor save that can't be improved. This is, it's so expensive. Rerolling successful hit rolls against the wearer is fine, but again, Mark and Nurgle, you make them reroll 6s if you want to skew into that. I think if this was sort of 30 points, 35 points, I'd definitely consider it.
Yeah. That's the thing. Anytime you see these big ones, I was just wondering, is there anything else in the gift thing that can you combo this so you're getting more than minus? I'd say you're getting those minus hits on you as well as the rerolls.
You could
hits, but you'd have to forgo any other type of defense, basically.
And forgo the Ogre Blade on your Dragon Lord.
Yeah. Crimson. Oh no, sorry, it's you.
Crimson Armor of Dargon, 40 points. Infantry or cavalry only. Suit of heavy armor, so immediately terrible. In addition, the wearer is immune to multiple wounds X. If they suffer an unsaved wound, they just take a single wound. So again, if this was full plate, and I get that they don't want to give full plate to models that can't typically take it, like the Sorcerer Lords or the Demon Prince, without paying a premium. But yeah,
do you see this on the Demon Prince at all, though? Like potentially to.
I think the problem is you've only got 4 wounds, so multiple wounds. Ignoring that is nice because it stops you from being flattened by a cannon. But you just take loads of crossbow shots or something, and then you fall over.
Yeah, right. Yeah, fair enough. That's the only one I thought, is there any use putting it on?
I think there probably is a use case for it. Yeah, I think there might be a use case for it, but I think at the price point and the fact that it's only heavy armor, I'm not excited by it.
Like, I'm wondering if you could do it and you go up and trying to kill the dude with the Ogre Blade, I don't know, something like that. Like, it's like the, anyway, Talisman, Crown of Everlasting Conquest, 40 points. The wearer of the Crown of Everlasting gains the regen 5 up. So, I mean, every time I look at one of these ones and then I think about the Yorks, what's it called? The trousers.
Trollhide trousers,
they also get the +1 save. I just think, why?
That magic item is not okay.
It's
God,
like 40 points. It's just like, how come the Orcs get more?
Yeah, I don't mind this. I think 40 points is just too much because Ogre Blade, again, 65 points. It doesn't fit onto the Dragon Lord with this, which is the main sort of place you'd expect to see it. It's fine. I think if you want to skew more into toughness, it's okay. Being able to get that triple save is nice. So.
Is there other talismans that you might? Is this something that you might put on a Sorcerer Lord?
You could do if you wanted. I think a sorcerer you typically wouldn't want to get into combat, but maybe if you went for a Manticore and you were going, you know what, screw it, I'm just going to risk the being T4 and also having Frenzy potentially. This would give you an extra layer of defenses. So yeah, maybe you could go with that. Brazen Collar, magic resist 2 for 20 points. This is great.
And common.
Obsidian Lodestone is 20 points. So unless you want to stack 3 of them to get to magic resist 3 for 60 points, this is just the better option.
This is and 20 points too. I'm thinking like, can you whack it on all the champs and the units, and just everyone's -2?
Sure. I can't remember. I know at least like the chosen knights have magic resist. Sorry, have magic item.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
So
don't
that's
know if
probably
the
a good
normal
place to
guys
put it.
do, but yeah, that's an interesting point.
Interesting that it's obviously corn flavored, but you don't have to put it on a corn model
Yeah,
only. So you can definitely put this on your Lord on Dragon, and I think you probably should if you're not spending those magic points on something else.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Banner of the Gods, magic standard, 75 points. A unit carrying the Banner of the Gods ignores all negative modifiers to its leadership characteristic.
This is so niche. Like this is. Do you only play against one person, and they only play the Scream list for vampire counts?
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, that's right.
Which, because they'll just scream something else to death. I don't know. This is so expensive. I just struggle to justify.
Like, because this is a unit carrying it. Like, if this was something that like the BSB.
I think even then,
bubble,
I still probably wouldn't be too bothered. But it's at that point I could see it having more play. This feels we're not seeing enough leadership bombing to make this worthwhile in the game. I think.
No.
Doom Totem, 65 points. Enemy units that can draw line of sight to this model suffer -1 to their leadership.
Okay, so there's a buff. There's another. What was the one that was doing the -1 leadership? The gift.
Oh the terror tests.
The terror tests, but that's Well, it's pretty. That's a lot of points that you're starting to spend just to try and leadership debuff people.
Yeah, and I don't think there's any way to make them take ranged leadership tests other than just your terror causing dragon that wants to be in combat. It doesn't really want to be causing things to run away. I think I'd struggle to justify this, especially because by the time you've got stuff into combat, they might not be able to draw line of sight to this unit because it's blocked off by the dragon that's in front of them.
Yeah. No, that's right. And even fleeing, like I was thinking with fleeing units, like we just talked about before, more people should flee from combat. But then they're running away and they're probably not seeing this banner anymore. So that's probably not affecting their rally either, is it?
Yeah, that's a good point because you're facing the wrong way. Get wrecked skirmishes.
Standard 40 points. A unit carrying the Blaster Standard may reroll any rolls of natural 1 when making armor save against shooting.
So if you want to go heavy into Chosen or Chosen Knights, this is really nice. Because Chosen Knights have got that 2-up save. You can get them 2-up save rerolling 1s. You can give them I think it's called Diabolic Splendor, something like that. With a character, give them -1 to be shot. So you can make quite a tough unit of Chosen Knights at range. It's not something that I necessarily want to spend my points on, but it's an angle you can go with.
Yeah, it's getting into that okay range too for the banner points. So
basically, if you're playing a Death Star, think about this. That's the play.
Yeah, no, that's true. Banner of Rage, 35 points. Unit carrying the Banner of Rage gains the Frenzy special rule and can't be lost as well. So
it's a lot of points to get Frenzy baited across the map. That's.
I was just wondering if there's. I mean, 35. You probably wouldn't, but I was just wondering if there's 35 points. Like if you're already. What's the impetuous units that are out there? Is there?
I
the
don't
Marauders,
think.
Or they're not.
No, they're not. I don't think there's any impetuosity. So I think. If you didn't have Mark of Corn, there'd be some play for this.
Yeah.
But because you can just pay 2 points per model on your regular Chaos Knights, you can just go, I'll spend 14 points. And
like if Frenzy was buffable, like double Frenzy, like originally people were talking about.
God, I'm so angry.
Yeah. Yep.
Pendant of Damnation, 30 points. Infantry or cavalry only. +1 modifier to their attacks for each wound they lose. That's... I want effects like this to be good because they're fun, but I don't want to take any wounds and I just want to kill you before you hit me. So Chaos is the one army that might have enough wounds to make this work, potentially. 5 wounds on a demonic mount on a Chaos Lord, but just Ogre Blade and kill them. There should be.
If you could do that on the dragon guy, I wonder
that would be horrifying.
Plus, he's doing the god table too, and potentially getting even more attacks.
Oh, man. Yeah, no. If you could put this on mounted, if you could put this on the dragon, or even just the Manticore, like a cheap character with Manticore in this, I'd be like, you know what? Sure, you've got 8 wounds, get down to 4, slap them for 9 attacks. But it's I think a little too limited.
Yeah, helm of many eyes. 20 points is the helm of many eyes gives its wearer the strike first special rule. However, due to the confusing images, it also gets stupidity special rule.
Yeah.
Is that worth doing that to get strike first? Probably not.
So that there are two ways to look at this, and we'll look at it the funny way first, which
Okay.
is you're going to roll a 1 on your chosen of the gods table, so you're going to be stupid anyway.
Stupid anyway.
So just start out with it and get strikes first. The other way of looking at it is you could just take the aura that gives your opponent strikes last, which is not giving you stupidity. And that's probably how I'd go with it. If you wanted a second character to fight first, you have good leadership. You could maybe justify it to yourself. It's not the worst 20 points you could spend, but it's not 20 points that I'm excited
It's
to spend.
Warhammer-ish, isn't it? That's the thing. You need these fun things occasionally.
Sometimes you write a list to be competitive, and sometimes you write a list because you're like, I've got an awesome helmet on this model with loads of eyes, and I want him to hit before anyone else.
And then this one, oh no, is this mine or yours? No, this is yours. So you got a good one.
Favor of the Gods. This is the item that you'll see the most. 5 points, extremely common, so you can take as many as you like. Single use. When the bearer of the Favor of the Gods may re-roll the d6 when rolling on the Gaze of the Gods table. So this is a case of you go turn 1, I roll my Gaze of the Gods. Oh, I rolled a 1. Okay, I'll use my favor. I'll re-roll it. Now I don't just roll randomly. Now I have to think about when I'm rolling on the table.
See, this is where I want to plug this in the chat GBT to do the calcs, because I have to do this. Because you know how we were talking before about it's 83% chance of rolling a good thing, but it's 50% chance of getting a permanent. Yeah, when you start adding these in, it's quite funny. It'd be interesting to see what the percentage. If you had 2 of these, for example, what's the percentages of having, X number of permanent modifications to your lord? It's probably quite high.
Yeah, if you spend points on them instead of just going, I'm only rerolling the ones. If you bought enough that you're like, I'm going to reroll everything that isn't a permanent buff.
Yeah. At least in the first 1 or 2 turns, when you then get into it and then use it. Yeah, that'd be funny. Skull of Katam, 60 points. Arcane items, by the way, sorry. The bearer of the Skull of Katam in any other within 3 inches, which is interesting, or friend or foe, may apply a +1 modifier to any casting roll they make. 60 points is a lot, and I think there's always, and of course, there's also a much better arcane item. But what do you think? Like, I was looking at this going, is there the little, the old Empire, what was it called? The Light Wizard Councils? Is there something here that you could, they're just not cheap enough, probably? Okay.
I've used this. You can get, if you put loads of stuff in a bunker, you can have loads of casters casting at +6, which is not bad.
I was doing that with my, my double casket with the Tomb Kings when you're sitting back casting at level 4 and +6. Not only that too, your plus casting level, if you have lots of level 1s, now they're casting at level 3, blue fire. What's it called? The Zench?
Blue fire Zinch. It does get your level 2s up to casting at level 4, assuming they're in a Zinch brick, giving them that additional +1 to cast.
So which interesting.
Is honestly probably the better use for it. So you go like a sorcerer lord and then 2 aspiring sorcerers, and you just go, this is my brick of chaos warriors with Marcus Zinch.
And obviously you're keeping away from the enemy as well, so they're not getting it. That's the whole idea. But so it's
and it's only 3-inch bubble. I've played against it. I liked it. I think the problem is, as you say, there is a better magic item which is just directly below it.
Exactly.
Which is the Infernal Puppet for 50 points, unless the owner of the Infernal Puppet is fleeing or engaged in combat. When an enemy wizard within 24 inches makes a casting roll, they roll an extra d6 and discard the highest result. This is brutal to play against. It's it's depressing.
It's just
there needs to be a better name for this, because Wood Elves have the broken stave for their dispel buffing, and this thing is on par or better, because you're not only making it less likely your opponent manages to get the spell off, you're also making it way more likely they miscast, because they roll 3 dice, and if there's 2 1s in there,
that's true. And
too
plus,
bad, so sad.
You're chaos too. And the other thing I find with them is you're across the board, you're in range. It's not like some of the other armies that are trying to stay away. It's like, this is not in your face. No,
I think the one sort of downside to this is you can't be engaged in combat, whereas you quite like being aggressive with all of your units. So especially if you're playing against a chaos player, try and tie up their enemy wizard that's got the puppet. That's the sort of way to get around it.
Yeah. And then another great arcane item, Spell Familiar, common, 15 points. Just 0-1 per wizard, but that's fine. Just know another spell.
just to briefly rant about this item, these items at 50 points, there are a few armies that have them. These are not okay at all, especially because they're extremely common. So you can have them on top of your Infernal Puppet. So, oh no, I can't take an Infernal Puppet and a Lore Familiar. How will I pick my spells? Never mind, I'll just have 5 of them.
Yeah, the chance is so high that you'll get the spell you want.
Yeah,
exactly
it's a case of haves and have-nots. And the armies that have them, I think all of the armies that have the Spell Familiars are good. I can't think of a single, like Dark Elves, I think is the one that you could maybe make an argument for, but I still think they're better than people give them credit.
Yeah, no, totally. Now these are all good actually, and even that Skull Katam, thinking about it, and like my comment right at the beginning somewhere where it was like, what are the builds you do when you don't have a dragon? And then you start thinking, okay, well if I'm doing more, because my Wizard Lords can fight a little bit if they have to and stuff like that, or have something else, or don't even fight. They do a Chaos Army their characters aren't fighting, and just see if you can sit back and shoot the shit out of people.
Yeah, so if you're going for that gunline list, this gets your level 2 casters a 3rd spell, which means when you're going battle magic, because you will, you're way more likely to get a fireball or a pillar of flame or both. You're unlikely not to get one of those, and then you swap into the blue fire a cinch as well, and it's just so oppressive.
Yeah, no, that's crazy. Oh, awesome. And just think, and the other thing too is we haven't even got the Arcane Journal magic items yet. So
interested to see how they go with those.
Because they've generally been pretty good outside of, well, actually, I don't know, all of them are probably, I haven't actually looked too much at the Bretonians, but...
the worst ones, I guess you'd say, are the Bretonians and Tomb Kings, because they're locked, but they're still really good.
But they're still good ones. Like Tomb Kings have good ones that aren't all locked as well, so... But yeah, compared to... Everything's got to live up to the Orc one, I guess, and we'll see what happens with the one we'll get on Saturday, or whenever it comes out. Well, let's smash through the rest of the army book then. So Chaos Warriors. So these are your 32 of these guys coming in the battalion box, whatever it's called. Weapon skill 5, strength 4, tough 4, 1 wound, 4 initiative 4, leadership 8, 13 points, heavy infantry, heavy armor, and option to get a shield. That's, to me, that's the thing that jumps out at me, that because these guys used to have played, I'm pretty sure.
I believe,
did they? Yeah, okay. And I saw someone mentioned it, and I went, oh, don't they have played? Because I haven't actually played against any Chaos Warriors yet.
Yeah, so like, if we're going to be negative about anything, it is Chaos Warriors. I don't think they're bad. I think they're just very expensive for what they do. You probably want to tool them up with halberds, a Mark of Chaos, and shields. So that takes you up to what, 17 points per model? Is that right?
Yep.
Yeah, God, that's so expensive.
Like that. Yeah.
And they're a T4. T4 is good, but they've got a 4-up save against shooting, a 5-up in combat. They fall over very easily. They're a 4-inch move infantry with no real way of buffing that up, apart from Steed of Shadow.
Steed of Shadows. Yeah, but you don't have drilled either. It's a bit annoying.
No
champion, but the champion can do magic items, so you can get these with the -2 MR, which would be interesting. I wonder if there is some things there. But yeah, it's just interesting to see. Hopefully, the Arcane Journal allows these infantry builds a little bit, or at least gives you some options, which would be interesting.
I think my biggest gripe with this unit is not the unit itself, because you could take them with halberds and market corn, and that's not awful. It's just slow, so you've got to work around that. But you've got Forsaken, which are also infantry, which are tankier and killier and faster. It's just everything in there is. Have we gone on to?
I'll just go straight to them. They're funny.
Forsaken. So Forsaken, movement 5, so immediately a little bit faster. Attacks D3, so beating the 1 attack that you've got there. They are, you take one of the Forsaken marks. I like Slanesh, give them Swift Stride so they can actually get into combat. Corn is really good as well. Hatred all enemies, just rerolling those hits is really nice.
They got a 5-up ward.
Yeah, absolutely. Chaos Armor 5-up. Then they've just got so many great rules. Ensorcelled weapons. Yeah, Furious Charge, +1 attack on the charge. Immune to Psychology. Impetuous. Okay, there we go. That's the Impetuous unit in the book.
Oh, maybe that was the one I saw. Okay.
Loner, that's fine. You don't want to put characters with them anyway. They just do their own thing. Open Order, Rampant Mutation, Random Attacks, and Stubborn. So they're going to get into combat, and then they're going to blend something with D3 +1 attacks that are either hatred, or you've got Swift Stride. You've got the mutations, so at the start of combat you roll to see what you get. So you can either get poison attacks, which is fine, AP2 on their Razor Talons, going from AP1 from their ensorcelled weapons, or decapitating claws, killing blow.
Mm.
That's
And that changes every start of combat. So
it does, yeah.
Okay, cool.
So this is swingy, but the flaw for them is you go, oh no, I've only got D3+1 attacks, re-rolling hits with poisoned attacks.
Yeah,
I guess that's fine.
That's okay. I can live with
and
that.
And then the high end is, oh, I'm playing against ogres. I've got killing blow. I've killed 12 iron guts.
Wow. Yeah. So have you seen these being used? And these are one of the ones that people are saying, like, maybe this is what you should do with some of the warriors in the box set coming out, you know?
Yeah, this
whack
is
some tentacles on them.
If you want to play, you know, heavy armored chaos infantry, this is the unit that you're going to see on the table. And maybe we'll see that change with the arcane channel, but these things are great. 19 points, so 2 points more than the tooled up chaos warrior, which is really not that much. It looks a lot more expensive because it says 13 points for chaos warrior, but you don't have to pay for any upgrades. They've got the mark rolled in. Yeah, these things are incredible. You can also take them in small squads of 5. I like 7s because that gets you, you know, it's a small unit. 7s, 128 points or something like that. It's 130-ish. So it's cheap. You can take multiple of these, and
and these were, like, I have to remember these. You can get these guys
not capped
in core. Wow.
Yeah, I think if anything, if they were special, we'd see more warriors because there'd be an actual reason to take them.
Yeah, okay, nice. No, that's cool. Okay, well, back onto chosen chaos warriors, which you can only get one of, I guess. These are slightly souped up, so 2 attacks, weapon skill. Well, weapon skill's the same, isn't it? Leadership 9, 17 points. Shields, additional hand weapons, great weapons, halberds. They can have drilled, they can get full plate, standards up to 100. What else have they got here? And then they've got chaos armor, so that's 6 upward as well. So they've got a 3 up effectively and a 6 up.
If you pay for it, and God, you're paying for it.
That's going up to what, 19?
Oh, mate. So let's talk this through. Start off at 17 points.
Oh, shields.
19 points for full plate. 20 points for drilled, 21 for shields, 23 for great weapons, 25 for a mark, 25 points for a single T4 wound is like that's more expensive than most core slot cavalry
and stuff.
Yeah. And like, yeah, sure, they're great if like the stat line's good. I think that again, this is a unit that I actually really like, but is limited by the fact that A, it's infantry, and B, it's way more expensive than it probably should be.
Yeah, fair enough. Yeah, it's just, I think it's this and is it this and the other chosen? Is it the horses that can get drilled? That's about it.
I believe,
I think. Yeah, okay. That's okay, cool. And then we have the Marauders. You want to run through these ones?
Marauders are great. I actually really like them. So they're 6 points per model, which is a little more expensive, I think, that I'd like for if you look at like cheap chaff from other armies. But it's still, you know, as Chaos Go, it's very cheap.
Skill 4, are you? Yes.
Yeah, that's true. Hey, weapon skill 4 is
ability to take marks.
Yeah. So you've got units of 5+, so again, you can go cheap. They start with close order, but you can upgrade 1 unit to either skirmishers or open order. So you're probably going to have 1 unit that's skirmishing. They can have light armor and shields for a point each. They can have great weapons or flails. They can have marks. You can have command. Interestingly, they come with shield wall and warband. So you can make quite a sticky combat break for relatively cheap. You know, 30 of these is 180 points, then plus, you know, whatever upgrades. It starts to get expensive if you give them light armor and shields and other weapons. But I really like them. I think this is a solid unit. They're not the best Marauders in the book. I think the Horsemen are better. But if you want to go for sort of like a sticky combat brick, this is a good place to start.
Yeah. No, that's right. And pretty. These guys were a bit. Now, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm looking at the models. Actually, I think it's the Horsemen that were redone, wasn't it? So these guys still look a bit derpy in the actual ones you get. But there is some pretty good 3D printed.
And if you want to pay through the nose, you can get the Dark Oath models.
Yes, well, 100%. Yes, no.
But God, they're so expensive because I was considering doing a Marauder focus list, and I was looking and I was like, oh, they're really nice, but you get like 10 in a box for all of the money in the world, which is not something I'm going to be.
Yeah, I'm going to be printing the. God, who was it? It's called Black. Who was it? Beholder miniatures. There's sort of a bit of a blend of Marauders versus the Corn guys from AOSE a little bit. You know, like the first guys that came out like that. They look a little bit like that, but they're pretty good.
While we're talking models, this is a great place to, if you like the warbands, this is a great home for the warband models from Warcry that look incredible. But again, more expensive per model than you might be willing to pay.
Yeah. Well, I guess the thing is you don't need, I mean, outside of these infantry, you don't need too many other figures to add in your Chaos Army. So maybe you can spend some money. I don't know. Yeah, we did the Forsaken for our infantry. And do we miss any? No, there's no infantry from Beastmen. Hey, they're all.
Yeah, it's we're okay there.
Yeah. So Chaos Ogres. I mean, these are basically ogres. Is that right? Is that a normal ogre stat line? I haven't even looked at ogres yet.
Yeah.
They look the same.
I think it's the same across the board. You start off with heavy armor. You don't have option for the sort of shield / additional hand weapon that you can get. Iron Fists, I think they're called, normal ogres. So you're capped at a 5-up save, but you can take marks. I think I like them. They're 33 points. You give them great weapons up to 37. You give them a mark up to 40 points per model, which is a little bit steep. And they are in special, so I'm not necessarily able to fit them into a Chaos Army, which is spending 1,000 points on characters. But they're fine. You get impact hits on the charge with Armor Bane 1 and AP free rank bonus.
Which you're probably not going to have massive ranks, but yeah, that's the thing. I mean,
also entirely fine choices.
Yeah, that's right. You just haven't seen a lot of monstrous infantry around, I think.
Yeah,
but it is.
And
what it is.
I actually really like the derpy models that they're bringing back. I know they're very dated, but I quite enjoy them.
What else have we got here? Chaos Trolls. Movement 6, weapon skill 3, strength 5, tough 4, 3. That's a fairly standard troll. They've got the same vomit attack, I'm pretty sure. Is this the strength? Yep, same. Armor Bane 1, close order, fear, flammable, regen 5. And you can do the upgrade as well with the additional hand weapons or great weapons.
Yeah.
I don't know. Top of my head, I can't remember if that's pretty much the same as the.
I think this is a copy and paste from a regular troll, and just trolls are great. I was talking to so we talked about monstrous infantry previously, but I think chaos trolls are, the problem with them is stupidity. Like the stat line is good. You're going to take great weapons, 45 points per model. You've got 3 attacks at strength 7, AP 2, armor bane 2. So you're cleaving through things, but your stupidity with leadership 4. So if you're not in your general's leadership range, you fail. And even on a leadership 9 Chaos Lord, you still fail some of the time. There's no way to get around it. Stupidity, there's no sort of re-rolls in the game at the moment. So that kills them for me, unfortunately.
Yeah. Even though your general is on a 18-inch bubble on his dragon.
True. Yeah. If there's just a way to reroll stupidity, I'd be really excited about them. I think they're a solid unit.
And I actually don't mind those models, actually.
I like
ones.
Them.
Yeah, they look pretty good. I didn't know the Chaos Spawn was infantry. Okay, interesting. And monstrous infantry, I guess. Yeah. 50 points, 2d6 random move. Weapon skill 3, strength 4, tough 5, wounds 3, d6 attacks, leadership 10. Takes one of the following. So you've got these. He's got heavy armor out of the box. Armor Bane 2, fear, immune to psych, open order, random attacks, random movement, stomp attacks 1, unbreakable. So one of these random moves. There's tough 5's good, but then you can also buy the marks. So we've got Khorne giving you killing blow, Nurgle giving you poison attacks, Slanesh giving you strike first, and Zench giving you flaming attacks and magic attacks, which is probably not that great. But what do you think of this
different
one?
points?
I've seen
different points in the upgrades. The first time I've seen that, it feels very odd, but it's a good balancing choice.
Yeah. I think the Zench one's probably not crazy on that one, but I saw someone running 2 of these the other, and they still, I don't know, they can be pretty tanky.
I'm in a few unit. Yeah, I'm in a few chats, and the Warriors players are just generally high on Chaos Spawn.
Right,
they're quite wounds dense. T5 3 wounds is nice. They've got heavy armor as well, and they're unbreakable, so they're going to stick around. They are random movers. Random movers is good. 2d6 is not the most exciting, but your opponent's not going to be able to, react to your charges. No running away from them. Spawn of Khorne is where you're going to see these. Just giving them killing blow is terrifying, honestly.
Yeah.
It's a lot of attacks. It's killing blow. It's only weapon skill 3, but you're just going to throw loads of dice at things.
Yeah,
And
their strength's only 4 anyway, so you might as well try to hit that 6.
yeah, absolutely. And I don't think, they don't have an ensorcelled hand weapon, so they're only making their attacks at AP 0.
Yeah, unless
But
you get the armor bane. Yeah,
just roll
which
sixes.
is funny, but then they're rolling 6. Oh, well, the horn one is rolling 6s, so it doesn't matter. Yeah.
It's nice into like chariots or beasts, anything that doesn't get killed by the killing blow.
Yeah, no, I mean, when I saw them, I didn't. And just like, to me, some of those old chaff units, what was the other one I used to use years ago? I can't remember. But yeah, these tough 5 ones that they're supposed to be crap and you just can't get through them. Like your chaff can't beat them because they're just tough 5 and you're like, shit, I'm stuck here. Yeah.
Just a slightly funny note is they have a stomp attack and the corn ones do still get killing blow on that stomp, which is just, nice, I think, the only killing blow stomp in the game as far as I'm aware.
And if you get your wish that people start fleeing combats more, or fleeing at least, like chaff fleeing, running away, this guy can at least combat that a little bit, maybe with his random movement.
Yeah, absolutely.
Chaos Knights. So obviously these are core heavy cav. It's the same stat line as a Chaos Warrior, 27 points, and they can take Lances, that goes 29. Standard sort of upgrades. Magic Banner at 50 and Champion is 25. Close Order, Ensorcelled Weapons, First Charge, Mark of Chaos Undivided, Swift Stride. So they do have First Charge, they don't have Counter Charge. And then
which is big.
Like sort of, what is it, Mark of Corns. Yeah, it feels like so these guys have the First Charge and the Chosen have the Counter Charge, but not First Charge? Is that what it was?
Yeah, I think so. They also don't have drilled, unfortunately. There's no.
Yes, so these guys have. Yeah, they have drilled, but these guys don't. Yeah.
Yeah. So they're expensive for a core slot cavalry. You're paying for the weapon skill 5. You're capped at a 3-up save, but there are some reasons to be excited about them. You've got you probably give them Mark of Corn, and that gets them up to a 2nd attack. Your Lancers, your strength 4 natively, so you strength 6 AP2 on the charge. So you're going to be hitting on 3s, wounding on 3s and 2s a lot of the time, which is nice. You can give them a magic standard or magic items, but honestly, I think I'm probably looking at these as units of, probably 6 Mark of Corn. I do like that you can take them as units of 4.
I was just wondering that, because 4 first charge, that's first charge, not furious charge, but first charge still, knocking out a rank. Interesting.
You could do it. There probably is a reason to do it, and I haven't worked out what that is. If you just want to go really chaffy with your core, maybe you're going, okay, I'm going to spend like 120 points, 3 units of 4, and just use those as roadblocks, or dealing with enemy chaff.
Well, the other thing too that I was wondering about this, because I've played Chaos a couple of times with these guys, and when you play against frenzied stuff. The first thing you do is, okay, well, let me frenzy bait them. But if you've got too many of these and you have to frenzy bait all of them, suddenly they've used all the chaff frenzy baiting these knights.
Yeah,
I'm also, I don't know.
Yeah, I'm less bothered by frenzy baiting with Chaos Warriors of Chaos, because you're putting your entire army in their face. So it's really hard to frenzy bait and tie things away. It's like, I'm going to be running at you anyway.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Fair enough. Then we got our Chosen Knights.
These are, again, pricey. 36 points per model, up to 38 for Lancers, up to 41 for full plate, up to 43 when you give them a mark. These ones I probably wouldn't give a Mark of Corn, just because they are an expensive unit that is worth frenzy baiting. So Slanesh I quite like, or Nurgle, just getting the extra initiative, getting you up to that initiative. I guess
5, 6, 7, 8. Charge.
Which is really nice with that counter charge. So even if you roll a 1 on the counter charge, you're still going 2 inches, and then you getting up to initiative 7, which is on par or faster than most enemy cavalry, which is really nice. They've got the 2-up save with the full plate. You can give them drilled, which is, I think, really important. I like starting my cavalry in marching column, even if I don't end up marching them turn 1. It just gives you, and it takes up less space in deployment, which is really nice. Chaos Armor 6-up, that 6-up ward's really, really solid. I think this is just a solid unit. That's the problem with them is you want to spend 1,000 points on characters, so you've got less points to spend on your non-character stuff. It's but special, you're not wrong if you go.
No, this is they're good. And what models the Chosen Knights, were they originally a lead, like not lead, but like They were different to the normal knights you're getting in this box set coming out, isn't it?
So I think, because I played Chaos back in, I think it was 6th edition, and the when they re-released the models that they're re-bringing out, I think they only released one set of Chaos Knights, and I think
so
you use those as obviously now you can use the really expensive Varangard or whatever, which look amazing.
So big, aren't they? Do they fit? Okay.
I'm not sure, to be honest. I've got a load of Chaos Warriors and Chaos Knights in a box sat behind me, so I'll be using the old ones if I'm doing them.
Cool. Marauder Horsemen, these are your favourite by the sound of it.
Oh, finally some good cavalry. I'm a huge fan of chaffy-like cavalry, and these ones they're really solid. 12 points per model, so really cheap. Start off with just hand weapons and light armor, but you can give them cav spears or throwing spears for free, or flails for a point. I really like the flails. Getting you up there in strength and AP on the charge is good. You can give them throwing axes and javelins. I think javelins are really nice. Being able to march and shoot with them is really solid.
How far is javelin? Is that 8?
I think it's 8. It might be 12 though. But you're going to march 16 inches, so you're probably going to.
That's good.
You can give them shields. You can give them a mark. And then you've got the regular command. So there's a couple of different ways you can go with this, or probably 3, I would say. So you can go for Zinch Bunker to give your caster +1 to cast and keep them safe on a horse. Also, they have both open order and skirmishers just baked in, which is really nice. You can go for my favorite use for them, which is a cheap Mark of Khorne flails unit. You just go, you can shoot this unit to death, but if you're doing that, you're not shooting my important stuff. And if they hit you, 2 attacks each with the flails is quite spicy. Or you can go for like a cheap skirmish harassing unit. Probably still give them flails because it's only a point to model. Give them javelins. Give them. Honestly, I probably wouldn't even give them a mark. And you just march them up the board. You harass with the javelins. You've got fire and flee. So if your opponent charges you, you're like, oh, too bad. I shot some javelins at you and then I got out of the way. They're fast cav and open order, so you just got the flexibility to, if you wanted to leave them as a redirecting unit, you could do, march them 16 inches, get your free pivot, throw some stuff. I really like them. Warband is nice as well, giving you that reroll charges. You're probably not taking them in enough units to get the leadership bonus, but just rerolling charges is really nice on the core unit especially.
And the Undivided, what that's giving you reroll to fear. It's not doing rally though, is it? It's just fear, terror, panic.
I think that's right. But that's nice, because often when you're losing the cavalry, it's because 2 of them have been shot off the board.
No,
you take a panic test on leadership 6 or 7. Get to re-roll it. I think this is a very versatile unit.
This is one of the models. So that Beholder miniatures, they've got some pretty cool looking cav guys that I think I might pick out and start playing. I'm excited to start playing around with some fast cav, fire flee, that stuff, which having played Tomb King so much, I got to experience yet. So should be fun.
Perfect.
Where are we on to next? Chaos Warhounds, some more chats. War Beasts, movement 7, weapon skill 4, initiative 3, 1s otherwise, leadership 6. They got units upgrades of Armored Hide 1 for 1 point a model, poison attacks for 1 point a model, or 5 points for the unit for Vanguard. And then any unit may come by a Chaos Warhound handler, 15 points a model. That's weird, that one. I was going to ask you that question because when I first looked at it, I went, what? He's movement 5. What does he do?
So I've pored over all of the books, and I think somehow this is the first time I've seen it. I'm sure I've looked at it, and my eyes have just glazed over because what the fuck is this? It's a movement 5 model that you're going to put in with Chaos Warhounds.
Don't the Vamps or something have something other weird thing with their beast? You can add something else to them. And they're not. Oh, I can't remember. Maybe it was this one I was thinking of. I was like, man,
it doesn't ring a bell, but this has completely left my brain, so it's entirely possible. This is such a bizarre thing. So Warhounds are incredible. Outside of the handler, you take them, you take a unit of 5, you probably give them Vanguard, 35 points. It's just chaff, redirector, frenzy bait, going to try and tie up enemy war machines, not dwarf war machines, because they'll win that combat, but Empire war machines or something like that you can charge into. But they're really solid. They've got all the things that you'd want. They move through cover in case that matters, you know, open order and swift stride. So they're super maneuverable. They're great. You can march them 14 inches and then pivot. So you've got a nice redirect. Yeah, I can't say enough good things about this unit.
That'd be good. We've got our chariots. Now, these can obviously be mounts as well. So,
yeah, and chariots as a mount is something that I really like a sorcerer on, because it's got that firing platform, the 360-degree line of sight for casting your spells, and you know, it's a reasonable toughness boost. So Chaos Chariot, 110 points. It's a T5 plus 4 wounds, or 4 wounds if you just take it as a normal one. 3-up armor save is really solid for sort of like the default chariot. Heavy chariot, 2 charioteers on the back. So, you know, 2 attacks with halberds. You can give it a marker corn if you wanted extra attacks. But I think I'm a little more concerned about that on something like a chariot, because you're not getting as many attacks, but you're just as expensive as a unit of knights. But it does have some great rules. Ensorcelled weapons, just great. First charge, turning off this rank bonus. D6 plus 1 impact hits that's a lot of impact hits.
Yeah.
That's a spicy amount of impact hits there.
Did you say this? The charioteers has got halberds as well, which is good.
Yeah. Just they've just got them built in, which is nice, and you don't lose the save as you normally would, because you've just got the 3-up armor save there.
Yeah.
I think I really like these. Again,
so what would you take a mark on these? Like, what mark did you say? You said you could do corn, but
you could do corn. I don't know if I'd bother taking a mark on them, to be honest, because it's 10 points.
10 points. You're getting into that one.
Yeah, you're effectively only getting the bonus on 2 models. Frenzy specifically doesn't affect mounts, so I think that wouldn't affect the Chaos Steeds. Not that I'm super bothered about a second, you know, strength 4 no AP attack, but yeah, I think I just keep these things cheap and cheerful. 110 points, D6 plus 1 impact hits, and first charges. It's a good combination.
Yeah, totally. And then we got the other one, the Core Beast Chariot, with the so same stat, well, same tough 5, strength 5, wounds 4, but the Gore Beast, which is movement 6, so it's a bit slower, but strength 6, killing blow on him, isn't it? Yep.
Yeah.
3 attacks. Initiative 2, it's still a 3-up save. Armor Bane 1 for him as well, for the Gore Beast. Close order and sword weapons. First charge, impact hits D6 plus 2, and Mark of Chaos undivided for 135 points. So was that 25 points more?
Yeah. So the movement 6 makes this really hard to use, I think.
And swift stride.
It's the problem with heavy chariots, because they don't have swift stride. So we're not playing a game. If we were playing against infantry lists all the time, chariots would be amazing. But because we play against mostly enemy cavalry and like dragons and stuff, I find it very difficult to actually get charges off with a chariot, which makes it, I think, difficult to use. But if you want to run a chariot, this thing slaps. You know, 3 attacks at strength 5 with killing blow is fun. I think I like the normal chariot over this. Just there's too many downsides, but yeah, the model on this is incredible. I'll give them that.
Yeah, and you can make this guy out of the box set too. Hey, it comes in the same. It's the same model. The chariot.
I think it is. Yeah. Don't quote me on that in case it's wrong, but I think so.
I'll only hold you to it if you're wrong. Yep.
Perfect. Yeah, I'll send you my bank details for compensation.
Yeah.
No, the other way around.
Yeah, that's right. We did have the other Beastmen guys, which we have talked about before, but we can't forget the old. Where are we? That's the Dragon Ogre. Let's go back to the. Where is he?
Be down a little bit.
Well, I've gone the wrong way, haven't I?
That's all right.
The Dragon Ogre. Where are you? Is he in? Isn't he in Infantry?
He's a cavalry, yeah.
Oh, there he is, Cav. That monstrous Cav. That's why I was going in the wrong one. Okay, yeah. So, I mean, everyone's been raving about these guys. Obviously, you've seen a lot of them, either singles or doubles and stuff like that. But yeah, Dragon Ogres. So movement 7, and the rules, all the rules under the sun. But yeah, movement 7, strength 5, tough 4, wounds 4, 3 attacks. Great weapon on that as well, plus 4 for him. So that takes him to 60 points. Can get up to heavy armor, or you can create him a champion as well, which gives him an extra attack, basically, which goes up to attacks 4.
Yeah.
But the Shah attack, if you've taken that, can also take Chaos Mutations and magic items, 25 points, which you said correctly. Obviously, this is from the Beastman book, which hasn't really gone through. So, but outside of that, yeah, Armor Bane 1, Armor Hide 2. So he's going up to a 3-up save if he's got that heavy armor, Close Order, Fear, Ensorced Weapons, Immune Psychology, Stomp Attacks 2. And yeah, he's a lot more resilient. This Quickening Storm's is it a 5-up or a 3-up against magic missiles? Which one?
I think it's a 5-up, and if they're hit by, I think if they're hit by a magic missile, might be worth just going down to the special rules section.
Special rules, because it's something. I think it's 5-up and a 3-up if it's a magic missile or something.
5-up ward against magic missiles or magical vortex. If it was hit by Stormcall, it becomes quickened, which is +1 to its initiative as an attack.
Okay, so just a 5-up against magic missile. That's what it was. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool. Yeah.
Which,
I mean, these are...
A 5-up against magic vortices is actually quite nice because you're going to see Pillars of Fire quite frequently. It's something that's definitely worth remembering that you have. So these things are possibly the best unit in the book, and they're not even in the same book, which is wild. So they're a T4 4-wound model. 4 wounds is an incredible break point because you'll kill 1 maybe in combat, but you're not killing 2. That's 8 wounds to chew through. They've got a 3-up save. You can take a character, don't, because you're just going to get challenged out. Just if you're running units of like 3 of these, just take them as units of 3 with great weapons. You're losing their lofty initiative too, but they're so beefy. They hit so hard. They've got 2 stomp attacks each. They, as you pointed out already, they've got Armored Hide 2s, they're up to a 3-up save. They cause fear. If for whatever reason you're in a protracted combat, you're against dwarves, you're both going to be initiative 1 next turn. You may as well, go in the ensorcelled weapons. They've just got every rule under the sun. They're an incredible unit.
Is there anything with the Shah attack if you did would you take these solo and become a Shah attack, or you're not into that? I have seen that run a bit, but
you could do that. There's an item called the Blackened Plate, which I think is 25 points, which is full plate basically, and that gets you up to a 2-up save.
2-up save, yeah. Right.
Yeah, and it also gives you a 3-up ward against flaming attacks, so it makes you really resistant to those Pillars of Fire. I could see a world.
You can only take 1 of them though. On that
one. So I could see a world that you go for a Shah attack with the Blackened Plate, and you run it as like a pseudo character that has 360 line of sight because single model. No, I don't believe it would have,
because it's
no,
a champ,
it's
not
not.
a character.
Yeah.
That'd be
I'm immediately less excited by that. Yeah. I think for me, I wouldn't bother with the Shah attack because you don't want to get challenged out, and the +1 attack is just not worth the buff. But yeah, these things are incredible. I think Chaos players, there's a real world you just run 3 units of 3 of these, and you're very excited by that.
Yeah, that'd be interesting to see what they do with the. I'm guessing they weren't in the first wave, are they? In terms of the releases, I can't remember.
I'm not sure. I feel like they might be.
They might have been, actually.
Yeah.
I'm getting confused. Oh, well,
they'll sell well whenever they come out.
No, we haven't. We've seen all the waves, haven't we? But I only got the pre-orders for this week. Yeah. You also get this guy, the Dragon Ogre Shaggoth, which is the souped-up guy, behemoth, monstrous creature. Actually, I'll let you. I ran through the other one. Do you want to run through this one?
Yeah. So this is monstrous creature. So it's not a behemoth. So you've only got the regular stomps, no extra AP on those. Move 7, so it's decently fast. Weapon skill 6, strength 6, toughness 5, 6 wounds, which is really nice for a monster. Initiative 4, 5 attacks. Leadership 9, 225 points. So. This and just quickly to call back to the Dragon Ogres as well, neither of them have Swift Stride, which is the only sort of downside to them. Which is a shame. But this thing, you're going to give it a great weapon. You're probably going to give it either the Blackened Plate if you're going to take this thing, getting it up to that 2-up save because it's got Armored Hide 2. It's a beefcake. I really like it. I think it's a fun model. You're not necessarily seeing it a lot, but I think mostly because the Dragon Ogres are so good, and it is unlocked by taking Dragon Ogres, but it's got so many rules. It's got Terror, which is really solid. It's got Stormcall, which is a melee magic missile. It's a range self cast on a 7. All units within 6 inches take D3 strength 4 hits at AP1, including itself. But it has the quickening, which gives it, I think, +1 attack.
Yeah,
hit by the magic missile.
Yeah.
So, technically, you could start killing yourself on turn 1, if you really wanted to cast this range self, you start chipping away yourself. But yeah, no, I really like this model, and it's on the same base size as a normal Dragon Ogre, which is a little weird. It looks odd. You expect it to be a bigger model than it actually is, but yeah, no, I like it.
And it looks like a good model too, so yeah, I'll have to see how much it comes out for.
Yeah, the downside is it doesn't have fly, and it doesn't have swift stride, so getting it there is...
Because, I mean, he's hitting strength 8, he can do some damage against dragons, but he's just, got to get him in there. I guess it's the challenge, What else do we have from this book was the giant.
Chaos Giant, yeah.
I might have gone the wrong way.
No, I think you're going the right way.
Oh, yeah, there he is.
Yeah, lovely stuff. So this is a giant.
And they're actually good in this edition.
I'm on the fence about them.
Are you? Okay.
Yeah.
I just feel like the giant attack table is actually useful. At least, I mean, obviously you still need to roll the right results versus the thing you're actually attacking, but compared to what they used to be like.
I don't hate them. So it's a normal giant. You can give it heavy armor for 10 points, which I wouldn't bother with, or regeneration for 20 points, which I might bother with, because that is a little bit of cannon protection. And that's the sort of issue I have. I find, and I think it's different from country to country. So talking to people, I think in the UK we've got quite a heavy shooting meta, whereas across in America I know it's more of a melee meta. So I'm not sure how it is in Australia.
Yeah, I haven't played against many gun lines. There's one guy, a dwarf player, that played a few, but not. I haven't certainly seen the Empire gun lines yet and things like that. Yeah. But I mean, I'm assuming they're coming. But
yeah, especially with the release coming next year. If you're playing in a melee meta, I don't hate them. I think they're very interesting. Which can be amazing or it can be terrible. You've still got D6 stomps at strength 6 AP2, which is fine. It's got the archetypical giant stat line. It's T6, it's 6 wounds. It's very honest. It wears itself on its sleeve. You know what it's going to do. And it's an unbreakable terror-causing unit that when it dies, it might fall on your opponent's models. So it's a very fun one.
Yeah, it's if you want to bring a bit of that fun randomity into the chaos list. Usually it's not so random, it's just in your face, smash you up, and this guy has the ability to do that. I guess the other thing that you always find with chaos, I would imagine that you get short on points. So 200 points you spend, so no, that's interesting. At least they've got those options. Is that it for the warrior book? Are we through?
I think
it's might actually be quite a small units, if you know what I mean.
Yeah, there's not a lot of stuff, so quite excited to see what they're adding to it with the
we didn't do the other monsters. Sorry, that's right. There was a few more monsters in here. The Chimera and
I did forget about the Chimera. Yeah,
and not the cockatrice. That's in the bloody other one. The Chimera and the Hell Cannon. Yes.
Yeah. This is another one of those dated models that I have a lot of fondness for. I remember that one. So this is a T5 4-wind model for 180 points. So immediately that makes me go, that's risky. And you can spend a lot of points to buff it up. So it's movement 6, but it has fly 10, which is nice. It does have swift stride, so it is going to get in. It's got terror. Oops. That's my alarm telling me to get to work, but I've got a few minutes. It's okay.
Yep.
So weapon skill 4, it's got strength 6 attacks, which is quite nice. So it does hit quite hard. A lot of upgrades you can give it. Flaming Breath for 20 points, 10 points for extra attacks D3 weapon, which is not the worst 10 points you can spend. You can give it a 5-up regen for 15 points, even though it costs 20 points to give a giant a 6-up regen. So I quite like the regen on this one. And you can give it poison attacks for 10 points, which I don't hate as well.
The problem is you whack all those 35 points, suddenly you're in the 220, 215 range for still
100%. Yeah, you're looking at a 205 point model that's just too expensive, I think, is where I come down on it. But again, if you're going for sort of fun and flavorful, and especially if you're not playing into shooting, this thing hits like a truck.
True. Yeah,
you just got to get it into melee.
He'll be in combat in turn 1 or 2, depending on if you get the first turn. Hell Cannon. This is a lot of rules. 215 point monster, but it is a cannon. Behemoth on the big base. Armor value 4, 3 Chaos Dwarf handlers. Armor Bane 1, Cage Fury, which will go into a minute. Close Order and Source of Weapons. Immune to Psychology. Impact hits D6. Large target. Monster handlers. Regen 6. Terror. Unbreakable. Warp Spawned. So this Cage Fury is During the start of turn sub-phase of each turn, make leadership tests. If this model's failed, you've got to roll on the Hell Cannon misfire table, which is down the bottom here. So on a 1, the demon's loose, every friend or foe within 36 inches suffers D6 strength 5 hits with an AP -1, and then it's taken off. Otherwise, 2 to 4, it chomps one of the dwarf handlers. On a 5 to 6, it immediately moves 36 inches as if it had random movement. That's kind of funny because it's not. It just has to. Does that matter now with that rule that you can choose how far you move anyway?
Yes. So technically, I think you don't actually have to move, which I think definitely needs to be addressed, because this does matter, because you can, if you, like you say, if you fail the leadership test, you roll on the misfire table, and that's before you shoot, and it has the move or shoot rule. So technically, you could just not move. Which feels a little bit gamey. So I think I'd like to see that one addressed. So this is a stone thrower that is better and worse than stone throwers. So it's strength 5 AP2 or strength 10 AP5 on the middle hole. When you're like, wow, that's amazing. That hits really hard, but then it's only D3 wounds, whereas a normal stone thrower is D3 +1. So typically we're seeing stone throwers to deal with big ridden monsters, and this just doesn't do that. And it's way less reliable. But it's a great model.
And it is. It does have that slight thing. If you suffer a 1, you have to take a panic test. That's about it. But panic tests aren't as bad as they used to be. It's not as probably good as the stone thrower from the Tomb Kings. At least you do it at -1 or whatever it is.
Oh yeah. For me, this is twice the price of a stone thrower or more, and it's not as good. So I think I'd struggle to justify it.
And you're paying, I feel like you're paying some of these points for, like, for example, impact hits. Like, is it ever going to get in combat like that?
Yeah, absolutely. The 5 attacks that the Hell Cannon's going to make, which. Yeah, if I take one, I'm going to put it on the front lines, and I'm going to aim to charge with it, I think, is the game plan.
That's interesting. But anyway, cool. Yeah, anyway, you do have to get going. I think that is the book. Is that right?
It is indeed.
Just in time for the release of Chaos out this weekend. So I guess quickly, Ed, how do you feel about it? You said you're excited maybe to try Triple Dragon if the Arcane General has some of the goodness.
I really like Chaos. I think there's great rules in there. I think some of the points values need tweaking. Hopefully we do see that. I think we've heard that we might have some sort of rules balancing coming up, or points balancing in the future. So that's very exciting. I think it's a really deep book with a lot of options that are just pointed incorrectly. And the stuff that's coming up sounds really exciting. There's going to be Marauder focus. There's going to be Knight focus. Those are two things that we haven't been seeing on the tabletop.
I mean, on my point of view, I've just seen, people are jumping on the Chaos bandwagon, the dragon, and then when they do that, they sort of are limiting the rest of the list. And I feel like maybe with the meta shaken up with the Arcane Journal, we're going to see a little bit more variety with them potentially, and just see more unlocked out of it, because I think it's got good options through there. Excited to get into it and try get myself a Chaos army. That's my next project happening at some point.
Beautiful models as well.
Many. Yeah. Cool. Anything else you want to say about the Chaos Warriors?
I think that's about it. I think it's a really fun army, and definitely one with a lot of builds I'm hoping open up in the future. So excited to see how that one goes.
Awesome. And I think my video is lagging and so annoying. Anyway, thanks, Ed, for coming on. Sorry about the technical issues. I don't know what the hell's happened there. Hopefully people enjoyed that faction focus. Go check out Close Order. I'll put it on the links. If you're not subscribed to Ed's channel, you have to. I shouldn't just say Ed's channel because now I forgot your mate's name.
Lewis.
Lewis is well. So there's a few people on that. So get over there, check them out, and you'll learn a lot because they are definitely coming from a pretty tactical and point of view. So I love watching it, and happy gaming, mate. Hopefully we'll get on Warhol one day and have a game.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolute pleasure to talk to you.
Awesome. Cheers, mate.